get the W.
All right, so now here we go. It's finally time for game number 1. Let's let the players do the talking. It's Mr.R versus OwlBBs. Let's go to Battlefield for game number 1. Take it away, Ramses.
Yeah, so of course, Battlefield from the get-go, an amazing stage for Bayonetta. She can really use those platforms to leverage her her mobility, because the downside of her mobility is that it adds a little bit of guaranteed landing lag every time she uses a special, right? But the way this platform layout works allows her to really compensate for that lag. Land on platforms, land through platforms, use witch time on your landings, really add a new layer of mix-ups, which is very, very strong.
All right, and already we see great use of the platforms being used to extend the combos. Also, we saw just now an F smash coming out. You might be able to get an early stock, just cheese a little bit of that early stock. That might become very important in this set.
And I wouldn't even call it cheese because it's necessary, right? When you're playing as Chrom, the character just wins, right? He wins neutral, has an amazing advantage, even decent disadvantage, except for when he's off stage. So when he is in that position, you need to make the most of it, even overcommitting at times, just because the risk reward is that much in your favor, right? There's the forward throw, puts Mr.R off stage. Mr.R swings back with the forward air. Very nice return to the stage.
Right, and the percentages are pretty even, but Chrom does have an easier time KOing. Now we have Mr.R in that ledge trapping scenario. Owl gets out, though, with the up B.
Yep. And there's the dash attack, tries to establish some burst range, but no cigar. Goes to the platform with the attack, and still gets pressured by Mr.R. And this is one of Mr.R's specialties, is that advantage state, the downer almost killing. Like I said, Chrom can just kind of do whatever he wants, and he wins the neutral. That spot dodge grab, one of those things you don't see a lot of players do, but Mr.R, big fan of it. There's the grab again, just pushing his opponent. I won't say in disadvantage, but the up throw just straight up gonna get the KO. Mr.R with the first lead in game 1.
All right, there's that witch time coming out.
That is tragic. He missed the turnaround. And just like that, Mr.R gets a second chance at life. And that is huge because Bayonetta's KO power, I mean, she has it with those smashes, but they're huge commitments. So when you do find an opportunity, you need to make the most of it. There's Aldo getting the KO with only 40% of extra credit on him.
Yeah, that back air definitely coming in huge there. If Mr.R could have gotten more percentage there, then the game might have already been there. Ooh! Going for that big forward smash, but Mr.R misses out just barely.
Just barely, and I mean, that miss is huge because now getting big damage. And I mean, we can talk for days about how good Bayonetta is or isn't, but one thing we can all agree on is that when she lands a hit, she gets big damage. And when she gets a read, she does, big damage. Just like that, the up smash with the whiff punish, getting Owl in the lead right now, making sure that the tides are turned into his favor. Very well done by Owl, finding the read that you need. Because at the end of the day, getting a kill with Bayonetta, it's not about playing a consistent, methodical game. It's about finding that opportunity in which your opponent, isn't ready for your whiff punish, isn't ready for your kill option.
Right, and isn't ready for your kill option. That was Mr.R just swinging out from the left field, and Owl losing the stock quite early, I should say, and he was building up a nice lead there, but now it's Mr.R in that advantage state, which we were talking about earlier, and he manages to get 58% of a single interaction.
And here's one thing that I think is very interesting about this game that I've seen so far. Oh, hang on, there's the combo. Forward air, not gonna kill. Okay, let me continue my thought. Mr.R actually cannot really corner pressure as well as he normally does because of the threat of the aerial afterburner kick. Right. So whereas normally he would try to aggressively claim space, now he's playing a more reactive game. That side B will not. It will kill?
It will definitely kill. Mr.R takes game number 1 from nowhere with that side B. Wow,
just
what a clutch play.
Out of the blue, that side B, it was looking like Roy right there. It was looking like Roy. We're used to seeing that double-edged dance KOing early when the hair is red. But, this is Chrom. And one of those things that Mr.R just does is that he always finds his own way to play a character. Which I think like most people try to do, but few people actually succeed at doing, right? A lot of the characters in this game are relatively simple, and it's hard to really find your own spin on most characters. But Mr.R makes it happen. And one of the things is like the way he grabs, and another one of the things is how he uses that side B. He uses the side B quite extensively. He uses it as a timing mix-up when you expect a landing aerial. He uses it as a pressure tool when you're sitting in shield too much and you're antsy to leave your shield. Then suddenly there's a multi-hit, and that second hit or third hit might just catch your jump, might just catch your roll. And finally, as we saw right there, he uses it as a whiff punish. I think it is frame 8, something along those lines. And as you saw right there, with that 150% rage, it's going to be lethal. By the ledge, just perfect circumstances to get that early kill. And I mean, Nier, we talked about it before. Bayonetta, not the best at getting early kills, right? Needs to get a read for those. And we saw in that situation, Mr.R living till 150, and that rage was exactly what he needed.
All right, so Mr.R's self-made style, I heard you say, Ramses, is going to play an important role. Now, Owl has decided to switch to the Banjo. Now, this matchup is very different from the one we just saw, but we do have a very good Banjo living in the Netherlands with which Mr.R practices regularly. Could that play a big role here?
Yeah, so I'm studying, of course, a very talented Banjo. However, I do not know how much they have actually played in recent times. Of course, we are all in a lockdown, and Mr.R more of an offline player rather than an online grinder. So the amount of experience, I do not know if that will be a factor, but what I do know will be a factor is, in my opinion, the most important thing about Owl's Banjo is his approaches. So right. Owl, very talented at patience, right? He has a lot of patience, knows how to leverage that patience. But on the flip side, talking about flip side, there will not be one. Banjo with that side B, extremely lasting, getting the normal getup early on Tana City of all stages, of course. Yeah. It's going to help him out a lot. But what I was saying is, OwlBBs very good at leveraging his patience, very good at playing that patience, zoning style neutral. However, I do think his approaches in the neutral generally, not the greatest, a little bit direct, a little bit committal. And I think that really will be the point where Mr.R will have to leverage some of his advantage in terms of disjoints. However, if you don't get past the zoning, of course, that's going to be really, really hard to do.
Right, and if Owl manages to find more of these Wonder Wings, then the stocks will go flying very early. Of course, both of these characters can KO quite early. Here we see Mr.R pushing Owl off stage. Maybe the dash attack will do it? No, not just yet.
Not just yet. That's one of those things. Mr.R uses Chrom dash attack. You don't see that too often. So talking about self-made style, that's one of those aspects. Forward tilt, of course, anti-airing. Everything that Chrom does is an anti-air, which, you know, definitely a blessing.
It helps if your sword is big, you know?
Yeah, exactly, and sweeps it around just like that. The Wonder Wing, again, breaking through Mr.R's oppressive advantage state. When Mr.R is trying to recover, he has to deal with the Wonder Wing. When Mr.R is trying to ledge trap, he has to deal with the Wonder Wing. And just the pressure of that move is gonna, you know, give Owl so much leverage in this matchup.
Right, and Owl doesn't just throw it out all willy-nilly. Well, maybe a little bit there, but...
Commentator's curse.
But he's playing it smartly, right? He knows, okay, I have 5 of these, I have to play them. Okay, well, I guess that's a good point to put it, right?
No, but that is really exactly where he wants to use his Wonder Wing. It is where Mr.R is strongest. We talked about this before, the methodical playstyle. His tendency to go for oppressive ledge traps. But oppressive ledge traps in this game does not mean holding shield and reacting with grab like it was in the previous game. Oppressive ledge trap is throwing out your hitboxes preemptively and punishing, you know, just by covering so many options. But you cannot cover Wonder Wing except with defensive play. And that is where Owl just gets so much leverage, and it's amazing to see, honestly, the way that he utilizes the correct timings for his important resource.
All right, but the important resource is now gone. No more. Ooh, that's not going to do it. No.
That's the most important resource, your stocks, and that is hella gone. Owl taking that game just like that, tying it up quite quickly. 2 stocks left on that Banjo, looking hella comfortable.
Yeah, these are quick games, and of course that's to be expected with these explosive characters, but the Wonder Wing is definitely paying off dividends here, it's kind of like a get out of jail for free card in this matchup, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I definitely think I wouldn't call it a get out of jail free card, because at the end of the day, the move is still like -30, something like that. You can like dash up forward smash hits, etc., etc. However, it definitely does force a lot of respect from the opponents. And I think that's kind of where Mr.R has been lacking so far. When he's ledge trapping, he wants to make the most of it, he gets Wonder Winged. When he's edge guarding, he wants to make the most of it, he gets Wonder Winged. And to kind of add to that, we talked about Owl's neutral, perhaps his approach is not being, you know, the most consistent. That is a weakness of not just, or that's not even a weakness of Owl per se. It's also a weakness of Banjo. Banjo is not like a great approaching and pressure character.
No.
But what I can tell you is that when Banjo gets that hit, he does an amazing advantage state. Not vertically per se, I think his up air is a little bit lackluster in damage generally.
Yeah.
But horizontally, it is quite amazing. The way he can pressure his opponent off stage with his multiple double jumps to kind of create a pseudo float off stage and really allow him to, occupy a certain area for a longer time, as well as his two-framing tools, both Wonder Wing and down tilt being lasting hitboxes that lead to extremely early kills if you do find a two-frame, which is exactly how Chrom recovers, right? Chrom recovers by air dodging to the ledge, and it's very susceptible to those tools.
Yeah, so let's see how that plays out here in game number 3. We're going to Pokemon Stadium. And look, that was a little bit of vertical juggling right there. But
yeah.
The quick 55% on Mr.R will be how the game is started. Now Mr.R in that ledge trapping scenario. There's the Wonder Wing to get out of there.
Yep, still Mr.R not respecting the option enough, and Owl happy to just throw it out while it is working. And those Brigo blasters by Owl just working out so well. The whip punish with the side B, not gonna land him a KO quite yet, but it will get him in a good position. Mr.R catching a lucky break, getting hit to the stage by the grenade. Definitely not intentional by either player, but it did work out in Mr.R's favor. And I was gonna say, now he can set up his advantage, but that upside out of shield definitely gonna prevent that from happening.
Yeah, just a little bit of unsafe movement from Mr.R. Look at the forward air there, 17%. Mm-hmm. Now it's Mr.R on the offensive once again, throws him off stage. There's that Wonder Wing again. Needs to be a little bit more respectful, like you said, Ramses. But it's difficult for Mr.R right now. Needs to get something done. Doesn't want to get too much percentage. The dash attack comes out. Owl makes it back to the ledge.
Yep, and there's the grenade trying to cover his return to the stage. Mr.R intelligently using the platforms to weave around it and continue his pressure. And now Owl back on the ledge. I can predict a Wonder Wing to come out sometime soon because Banjo only has one left and he's about to kick the bucket. There's a forward tilt after the spot dodge. It is going to negate the rare grab. Mr.R catching on to that grab attempt quite easily.
Ooh. And we see Owl taking his time to get out of this situation. Well-timed Wonder Wing will get him back to the center of the stage.
And now, I mean, Owl has to be happy, right? He used all his Wonder Wings. He's clearly going to die quite soon, 160% against Chrom. Not easy percents to survive, even with this recovery. I mean, he is going to make it back.
Wow.
At what cost?
Right, but he does make it back, and he gets to go. Up throw is going to do it, yeah.
So that's what I was saying, right? At what cost? It did get him closer to the kill percent, and especially Chrom having that emergency kill throw, one of the best qualities a character can have, a kill throw, emergency or not, extremely potent. So Mr.R now getting the Nair to a B, nice damage right there, and putting Owl again in a bad situation. Owl, he's looking for ways to capitalize on his grenade, uses the Wonder Wing to get out of the corner. Nice poking in the mid-range right here.
Yeah, a little bit of footsies right there with that down tilt. Great work by Owl to get Mr.R to the other side of the stage. Mr.R's not done yet. More up airs. The grab, the forward throw.
Almost getting the tech chase there, and the upside shadow shield not connecting. The jab, Mr.R looking for something cheeky with the side B reset. Not quite gonna work out though. And the Wonder Wing, that was, okay, I'm sorry Mr.R, but that was a little bit, everyone saw that coming. He had the grenade in hand. It's the oldest trick in the book. Guys, if you see Banjo holding that grenade, there's a huge chance he's gonna release the Wonder Wing. But okay, well, I got stopped in my tracks by the jab back air right there.
Yeah, jab back air coming in just in the nick of time here. Mr.R only 25% behind. This is still very doable. Now the grenade in hand. This is not Snake. You're playing Chrom. Get out of there.
Not quite what Mr.R is looking for, but this pressure will be very advantageous in there. Not quite getting the final hit. Wonder Wing again used to get out of the corner. Now, I mean, even if he does get out of the corner, when he whiffs, Mr.R immediately gets to apply pressure in that mid-range. Mr.R shielding the first Wonder Wing. It's happening. The adaptation. He shielded the move.
Oh, he found his R button all right. Now
Mr.R, right? Mr.R, it's there. So the grenade occupying a little bit of space as Banjo finds his way out of the corner. Slowly but surely, not overcommitting. Mr.R looking for ways to apply pressure indirectly, overshooting on the forward tilt, trying to punish the Wonder Wing. Not quite going to get it, but on the other hand, he hasn't really gotten hit by the Wonder Wing either. Back throw is going to come out. Ooh. Oh, the downer, no spike though. No, the down tilt. I told you about the down tilt, man. That is going to be it. OwlBBs taking another dub.
Ooh, yeah, you warned me about it, and it's so hard for Chrom to get back to the stage. Once again, Owl knocks Mr.R off the stage, and it's all over in the third game, 2-1 for Owl, and he's looking poised to get into that grand final.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That was not the end of the set. I'm sorry if I confused you guys because I was talking dubs in terms of games, right? And I mean, this is something that I mean, heavy foreshadowing by Rams is like 10 minutes ago when I was like, oh yeah, his down tilt lasts for a long time, which is good against 2 frames, which Chrom likes to do when recovering. Well, we saw it right there. Well placed down air by Owl, keeping on the pressure. That amazing advantage state that he does sport time and time again, leading him into that victory 2-1 in Owl's advantage. Let's see if he can close out the set or if Mr.R can continue the adaptations and perhaps get the final 2 games to go his way.
Such an interesting set as well, because we can see the gears turning in Mr.R's head, right? He's slowly figuring things out, like in what positions Owl likes to throw out the Wonder Wing, where he can apply more pressure, where he needs to back off. But it's once again, Owl. Oh no!
The vacuum cleaner bringing you to the abyss. Just like that, your stock gets cleaned out. The up B, yeah, the suction effect just coming in a big way. I'll try to down air 2 frame, a little bit off on the timing. And I mean, on Wi-Fi, the timings are, of course, very inconsistent. Just due to circumstances, and that is going to be horrible for Owl. However, in this situation, he might make up for it. No, got scooped up instead, and this is big damage on Owl so far. He's down a stock and then some.
Now, if you're a Mr.R fan, this is exactly what you want to see. Mr.R in a pretty big lead here. Now he's gonna probably lose his stock.
Oh, yep. Down for a 50-50. Very, very nice coming in big for Owl. 76%, some extra credit. Not enough to really be called a definitive lead, though, especially, again, when we've seen how early Owl can get these stocks.
Yeah, but 22% of the up B will definitely help out here. Blocks another Wonder Wing. Thought he was gonna move over it, but Owl just landing on that platform safely makes it back to the center stage.
That's a huge swing because that could have been the KO. Like, quite comfortably could have been the KO. Now Mr.R has to find a new opportunity, and we know the way Owl plays neutral, it's hard to get that solid hit in. And see if Mr.R can muster up the same patience as Owl has as he plays this neutral, tries to not overcommit, finds the jab into Banjo with just the final little bit of the jab. As we said, all of Chrom's moves do anti-air.
Yeah, but that entire sequence before that was so beautifully played. Mr.R using the platforms to the maximum. Oh, yeah. Actually moving around, dropping down, jumping back up, jumping over the grenade egg, just waiting it for his time. I love to see that. You kind of need to watch that back because it was clever.
I think Chrom and Roy both excellent characters at abusing platforms. Their full hop height as well as their low double jump. Excellent moves to utilize platform pressure to their maximum potential. There's the down tilt again, and that's going to be curtains for Mr.R's second stock. And what was a like 100% plus lead is now a 30% lead, and that is scary for Mr.R because we know he could die at any time.
Yeah, he definitely could, but so far he still has a small lead, and a small lead, the smallest of margins are what matters in this match. Tries to go for the forward smash, doesn't quite get it. Jab to neutral air. Owl recovering high, makes it back to the platforms.
Yep, using the directional air dodge, very smart. Those low double jumps really allowing him an extra second to kind of make his decision, react to what his opponent is planning to do. There's the fourth throw. Immediate side B to follow it up. Owl was looking for something big, but talking about big, that sword coming in with a jab backer. Mr.R ties up the set in classical Mr.R fashion. We've seen him compete in the States time and time again. And every single time, what do we get near? We get a Game 5 last hit situation in which Mr.R clutches it out. By the skin of his teeth, he makes it, he pulls through. And I think, we're in for a ride as we head into game number 5.
I'm pretty sure Mr.R just does this on purpose at this point.
Being a Mr.R fan is supposed to be suffering.
All right, we're gonna see the same character. No, we're not gonna see the same characters. Okay,
we heard already. We thought it was gonna be an immediate run back, but not quite. We're gonna go back to the drawing board, see what stage we're gonna go to. Maybe we can see Owl switch characters as well. However, I do believe that Banjo is gonna be the most likely to lead him to victory here.
All right, but what about Mr.R, right? Is this a point where you decide you're gonna bank all your stuff on the snake? No, we're just gonna see the Chrom anyway. So maybe a stage switch We'll see in just a bit. It's game number 5. Wrap up your seatbelts because this is going to be a great one.
Exactly. This is the finale of Winners Finals. Game 5, we're back to Pokemon Stadium 2. And, Chrom, of course, versus Banjo. Some classics for both of these players. Immediate pressure for Mr.R. Drops the down throw combo, though, in uncharacteristic fashion. All good. Now it's Owl's turn. Corner pressure, catches the jump, almost combos the grenade into the Wonder Wing. Owl is hunting, and I didn't know that bears were that scary on the prowl. The down tilt into the grenade, almost catching a lot of damage right there. Barely makes it out though, and it's such a back and forth so far. Look at the percentages near.
Yeah, it's really back and forth, only just differing like 3% just now, but Mr.R takes the lead in this game. Now, we've been seeing a lot of Wonder Wings.
Oh, no!
They haven't been working out.
Yep. Mr.R, he's now shielding, and he's avoiding the Wonder Wings.
Yeah.
So he's halfway there, but the other half is actually punishing his opponent. There it is. Oh, that is the first punish, and it comes in big. Mr.R with a lead, and now Owl, he has to pull something out of his hat. We've seen him make this comeback happen a few times already, so definitely don't count him out. But Mr.R, I gotta be happy that my boy is finally actually punishing a minus 1 second move.
Right, but you love to see a Croy with that turnaround forward smash. That looks so. But it's Owl trailing behind just a little bit, but we know what he can do. He isn't considered one of the best European players online for a reason.
And so see Owl drops some good defense as well as a nice tech chase. A little bit off on the timing, but when you have the read, that is the most important thing. That's going to give you some confidence in this set. And he needs the confidence. He needs to make the plays with absolute conviction if he has any chance of making them happen against a player like Mr.R. Almost getting the up smash again. Nice read, but a little bit off on the execution. You hate to see it. There's the punish again. The down tilt into the runoff forward air. Nice offstage pressure.
The most important thing about this... So he gets the up smash, so that's good. But
that was nice. That was hella nice.
Something that's important, I think, to note is that Owl only has 2 Wonder Wings left for this stock. So that means only 2 scenarios where he's in a ledge trap situation or something like that, where he can use the Wonder Wing to escape. Now, Mr.R, great ledge trapper. Maybe one of the best in the world. Now, Owl needs to be very careful here. It's a very dangerous situation. 150%. A jab to back air will do it.
Yep.
What can he do to slowly bring this back?
Well, we've seen him get those gimps on deck. That could be exactly what he needs. Another Wonder Wing gets shielded, and Mr.R is catching on to the side Bs, and this is looking rough for Owl so far. We've seen him get some amazing dubs on the Chrom, but now, will he be able to finish it out? The meaty hit, and this is it! Owl, you asked him what he needs to make the comeback happen.
Wow.
Well, here he is, making his statement and making his name known. We're now getting into a final stock scenario. I told you guys, if you're a Mr.R fan, this is familiar to you. This is hella familiar to you. Oh, getting a big hit with the side B, getting another big hit with the side B. No jump for Mr.R. That might be it. The air dodge comes through. Can he make the recovery happen? Another Wonder Wing. Mr.R, he doesn't recover. He makes it back and he empties all of the Wonder Wings, but he's at 110 near. He's at such a deficit. Is this enough for Owl to finish it out of the back throw? Such a strong throw too.
No, not
down tilt. Mr.R swings out, gets the tech chase, gets the up air, gets another one. He's on a roll. Down tilt.
This is a nail biter to the extreme, man. Mr.R slowly inching his way back. We see Owl going for these smash attacks. Doesn't quite work out. Mr.R trying to get the jab, tries to get something for him here, but Owl's defense. Is it too much?
Our defense is insane right now. The spot dodge up tilt almost coming in big. The grenade exploding both players. 140 for Mr.R, but one jab back there could be curtains. Owl, he's looking for a grenade. He's looking for a way to slow down the pace. Mr.R, meanwhile, trying to apply the pressure. He's not taking the bait after the forward air hits the shield. The grenade is run up tilt. Oh, takes the W. He moves on to grand finals. Wow.
Wow, yeah, that was a set for the ages. I thought Mr.R could have it when I saw that second stock, right? He was ahead, but then Owl with the fantastic game On the next stock, we see Mr.R struggling to stay alive, eats 3 Wonder Wings, makes it back somehow, starts to climb back in percentage, but then Owl, out of nowhere, the run-up tilt to catch the jump from Mr.R. Fantastic heads-up play